Exclusively for Playboy.com, answering questions about love and the law. It's called Lawyer of Love.
Corri Fetman joins us once again. Oh, everyone's always excited when you come into the studio, Corri.
Well, I'm excited to be here.
How's that gig with Playboy going for you?
It's going great, thanks.
So you just have to write the column. That's all you have to do.
That's all. I don't have to do anything else. You know, I don't have a law practice or anything like that, but don't worry about it.
Okay. Here's an email from Anonymous. Go ahead, Larry.
What should someone do when their wife suddenly decides to start divorce proceedings and takes all of her husband's money out of their joint bank account and moves it to her own personal account, despite the fact that the money is mostly her husband's? Is there any way he can get that money back?
Actually, it's a great question because it happens all the time. And what you need to do is you have to file a petition for a temporary restraining order, preliminary injunction, to get the money back into the marital estate or into an escrow account. And the lawyer can file that petition once the divorce proceedings have been commenced.
In the meantime, is that money just kind of on hold in limbo?
You know, the person has to account for it. If they went and they gambled it away, let's say, for purpose of argument on the boat, at the end of the case, you can seek redress to get that money back. It's called dissipation.
Gotcha.
All right.
Oh, here's an email from Cheryl. What can I do if my ex does not follow the agreement to pay half for the kids' medical bills or education? I've spent over $30,000 on my divorce and can no longer afford an attorney. He owes me about $1,200 in medical and educational expenses, but doesn't want to pay.
If you can't afford an attorney, there are some organizations, if you qualify, if you meet the income requirements, they're pro bono organizations. However, with respect to the question, if they are clearly violating the agreement, you can file what's called a petition for rule to show cause to hold them in contempt. What that means is a visit with Bubba in jail. So you're seeking jail time, but you're actually seeking to get the money back as part of the purge to get them out of jail.
So you can do that without seeing a lawyer. You can go to...
You can try to do it yourself, but it's really not advisable to do so.
All right.
We have an email from Ron. I was reading that there was a psychological expert in Christy Brinkley's divorce case who was recommending that Christy get full custody of the kids because her husband is a narcissist and a porn addict. What role does an expert play in a custody case, and does the court have to listen to him when making a decision?
Great question again. The most important person in a custody dispute is the psychological expert. They're appointed by the court. They're the ears and eyes of the court. They're usually a psychologist. They can be a psychiatrist. They can be a social worker. What they're doing is they're going to get together with family members. They're going to get together with the parties, and they're going to come up with a recommendation. That recommendation is generally held to a lot of weight by judges.
All right.
And the problem with the psychological expert is that they bring biases like everybody else. And if you get opinions that are against you, then usually a client will want to settle the case, and it could be a problem. They're left with no other alternative but to go to trial and cross-examine this witness, and it can cost a lot of money to go to trial, as you well know.
Before we get to the next question, I was just going to ask Paul, it's unusual for you to be out here for a guest segment, and I'm wondering if you have any personal questions that you'd like to ask.
I just was wondering, is it wrong for me to be sitting this close to Larry right now? Because normally we're not that close.
Real quick, an email from Kim. A friend of mine who was getting divorced was approached by her husband, and he suggested that they use collaborative divorce instead of the traditional divorce process. What is collaborative divorce? Is it better than a regular divorce process?
Oh, my God.
You have 20 seconds.
Collaborative divorce is the emperor's new clothes. It's really not what it professes to be. I wrote about it in the column. It's a real problem in that it's a time and money waster. And really what it is that you have to start over if the collaborative divorce process doesn't work, and you have to hire new attorneys.
Start
on
Corri.
That's not what you want.
If you would like to ask Corri a question, legal question, go to playboy.com/Corri. Thanks again for joining us, Corri.
Thank you.
We always get so many questions, and we never have so many people in the studios when you're out here, too. I can't figure out what it is.
I just wanted to make sure none of the questions were coming from my wife.